For most of us, daily life is a relentless engagement with the material world. We navigate streets, interact with people, work with objects, and constantly respond to the tangible realities of our environment. Our attention, almost by default, is anchored in this three-dimensional existence, shaped by what we can see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. This sensory-driven focus, while essential for practical survival and interaction, often overshadows a deeper, more profound reality, the quantum field. Just as the awareness of your own nose flickers into existence only when you consciously direct your attention to it, the quantum field, a realm of pure potential and information, remains dormant and seemingly non-existent for those who rarely acknowledge it. Consider the analogy of your nose. It's always there, an integral part of your physical being. Yet for the vast majority of your day, you are utterly unaware of its presence. It's only when a thought, an itch, or an external stimulus draws your attention to it that it suddenly exists in your conscious awareness. The quantum field operates on a remarkably similar principle. If your waking hours are predominantly consumed by the tangible and the material, by the incessant demands and distractions of this physical world, then the quantum field, in essence, remains a non-entity in your experience. It's not that it ceases to exist, but rather that your lack of attention renders it inaccessible and imperceptible to your conscious mind. The profound truth, however, lies in the power of directed attention. The moment you begin to become aware of the quantum field, the moment you consciously choose to pay attention to it, to stay present with it, and to experience it moment after moment, everything changes. This is not merely a philosophical concept. It's a fundamental principle of energy and expansion. As you've likely learned, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And where energy flows, things expand. Therefore, by shifting your attention from the exclusively material to the subtle vibrations and infinite possibilities of the quantum field, you initiate a process of profound internal and external transformation, experiencing the quantum, beyond the senses. The key to engaging with the quantum field lies in moving beyond the limitations of your physical senses. Our senses are finely tuned instruments for perceiving and interpreting the three-dimensional reality we inhabit. They allow us to distinguish between light and shadow, sound and silence, hot and cold, rough and smooth. This sensory input forms the foundation of our conventional understanding of the world. However, the quantum field exists on a different plane of existence, one that cannot be grasped through sight, sound, touch, taste, or smell. To experience this deeper reality, you must tap into your consciousness and awareness. It's a shift from external perception to internal knowing. The moment you become pure consciousness, a state where your awareness is not tethered to your physical body, your personal identity, or your immediate surroundings, is the precise moment you make contact with that unified field. This isn't some esoteric or mystical concept, it's a measurable phenomenon. Through thousands of brain scans, researchers have consistently observed that individuals reach their absolute peak states of coherence, creativity, and well-being when they transcend their limited sense of self. It's in this state of getting beyond yourself that the brain operates with optimal efficiency, and the individual experiences a profound sense of interconnectedness and clarity, becoming nobody, nowhere, no time, the gateway to the unified field. The journey to pure consciousness involves a deliberate shedding of conventional anchors that define our everyday existence. These anchors include your body. Your physical form, with all its sensations, needs, and limitations, is a primary focal point of attention. When you shift your awareness away from bodily sensations and become less preoccupied with your physical self, you begin to liberate your consciousness. Your identity. Our identity is intricately woven with the people in our lives, our roles as parents, children, spouses, friends, colleagues. It's also linked to the things we own, our homes, cars, possessions, which often serve as external markers of who we are. Furthermore, our identity is shaped by the places we frequent, the routines we follow, and the experiences we accumulate. Time itself. We are constantly bound by the linear progression of time, past, present, future. Our minds often dwell on past regrets or future anxieties, pulling us away from the immediacy of the present moment. The moment you consciously choose to take your attention off your body, off your identity connected to people, objects, places, and time, that is the moment you begin to dissolve the boundaries of your perceived self. You become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, and no time. This seemingly paradoxical state is not an annihilation of self, but rather an expansion of self. It is in this state of pure consciousness, devoid of the usual external reference, that you become an open channel, perfectly poised to connect with the unified field, also known as the quantum field. This field is an invisible realm of infinite information and possibility that exists beyond the confines of our familiar space and time. It's a realm where all potential futures reside simultaneously, waiting to be brought into manifestation. Crucially, the quantum field does not operate within the predictable confines of the known. It is the very essence of the unknown, a place where new possibilities emerge from the void. The path to the supernatural, embracing the unnatural. The concept of becoming supernatural often conjures images of extraordinary powers or mystical abilities. However, in this context, becoming supernatural refers to transcending the ordinary, predictable limitations of our human experience and tapping into a greater creative and manifestational power. To achieve this, a fundamental shift in approach is required. You may have to start doing what feels unnatural. What feels unnatural in this context? It's anything that goes against the deeply ingrained habits of mind and body that keep us tethered to the material world and our limited sense of self. It's the act of consciously disengaging from the incessant demands of our senses and our analytical minds. It's the practice of quieting the internal chatter, releasing attachment to outcomes, and surrendering to a state of pure presence. Examples of what might feel unnatural initially include sitting in stillness. In a world that glorifies constant activity, intentionally sitting in quiet stillness without distraction can feel profoundly unnatural. Our minds are accustomed to being stimulated, and the absence of external input can initially feel uncomfortable or even boring. Letting go of control. We are conditioned to believe that we must actively control every aspect of our lives. Surrendering to the flow of the quantum field, trusting in unseen forces, and releasing the need to micromanage outcomes can feel counterintuitive and unnatural. Focusing on the unseen. Our reality is primarily defined by what we can perceive with our senses. Directing attention to an invisible field of information, to concepts like energy and consciousness, requires a mental leap that goes against our sensory-driven conditioning. Embracing uncertainty. The quantum field operates in the unknown. Most people find comfort in certainty and predictability. Deliberately stepping into the unknown, embracing ambiguity, and trusting that possibilities will emerge can feel deeply unnatural. Living from an elevated emotion. When we are constantly reacting to external circumstances, our emotional states tend to fluctuate based on those circumstances. Intentionally cultivating elevated emotions like joy, gratitude, and love, regardless of external conditions, requires a conscious effort that can initially feel unnatural, especially when faced with challenges. The discomfort associated with these practices is a sign that you are challenging your old programming. It's like building a new muscle. The initial attempts might be shaky and awkward, but with consistent effort, the muscle grows stronger. If you keep doing what feels unnatural over and over again, if you persist in these practices of conscious awareness, detachment, and energetic alignment, something remarkable begins to happen. Sooner or later, you will become supernatural. You will begin to experience a heightened sense of intuition, an increased capacity for creativity, and an ability to manifest desired realities with greater ease and precision. This journey is not about acquiring magical powers. It's about remembering and reclaiming your innate connection to the fundamental fabric of reality. It's about shifting from a passive recipient of circumstances to an active co-creator of your experience. By consistently placing your attention and energy on the quantum field, by becoming pure consciousness, and by daring to do what feels unnatural, you unlock the extraordinary potential that lies dormant within you, waiting to be awakened. This is the profound invitation of the quantum awakening.